What we have here is a failure to communicate. A Pandora's box. Today on Secondhand Noobs. So guys, when I first started thinking about this subject many moons ago, I came up with a Pandora's box. And that takes you back to the ancient Greeks and the origination stories of their mythologies. And those are great stories. Great stories like the Numa Elish, Mahabharata, the Torah, the New Testament. So many of those ancient books. Desert bound in the desert files, but still massively interesting and inspiring for many adult scholars and us of a punier distortion. One of these days I'll explain distortion, but it's basically a failure to communicate. But that's what I wanted to talk about today was love. Love is such a great feeling, right? A joyous, empathetic, emotional feeling, and we all feel very weak when we're in love. See what I'm saying? But the point is, there are actually two types of love. There's the personal, the one I just explained, and the impersonal. You can stand off and still love something. I think we all know that. We just have a failure to communicate. I have a couple of very simple things that I try to experiment with in my own thinking, and it brings me to a path, or as the Greeks might say, a pathos. That in Indian terms would be Sushumna. So now we know what we're talking about with the straw in the cherry cola. Very simple, but yet we still have to get that lovely goodness up to the lips and into the taste buds to taste that sugary goodness. And that's why we love cherry cola. It's a start, but we're talking about love and eros, logos, and pathos. Syzygy. It's all above your third chakra. Now, the third chakra is the solar plexus. Now, this is where that first snake comes to be. That's in the Egyptian. And that snake splits off into two snakes. Now, what do you think those two snakes are going to be? That would be Pisces. But I thought Pisces was a fish. Well, Pisces is a fish, swimming in opposite directions. That's why it's a duality. Welcome to the sign of Pisces, started last week, for whatever that's worth. And since today's theme is love, we must mention the eros. And the way I look at this is basically you've got a large set, and then you have a set within that set. Probably best looked at as a large circle with a circle within that circle, a subset. And now you're talking about eros. The whole thing is eros. But there's negatives in there. There are positives in there. There's all kinds of chaos going on in there because it's undifferentiated. Nobody knows what's going on. It sounds very quantum to me. So these guys, they knew what they were talking about, kinda, sorta, if you see what I'm saying. I remember back in the day when I first started learning the guitar, one of my teachers said, "Blunder on." And that's the way it is, you fake it till you make it. It's a metaphor until it's not, and nothing could be more true, because you never really know, because we're doing all this stuff in one octave, so they say. And that octave has 7 tones. The 7th is a leading tone, moving to the next octave. And that's where the fun starts, because the love that I'm talking about is in the next octave. So what we have to do is we have to imagine ourselves in 4D. And when you start to imagine yourself in 4D, you can go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then, of course, you'd go into the octave after 4, which is discernment. But first, we got to learn how to love. It's easier said than done, as any of us older human beings have learned. But it becomes more impersonal, and the love itself grows to massive proportion. That's my experience. I love you guys, I really do. So a lot of religions have actually named these things. If you can see what I'm saying, all religions have this particular type of pathos, and that's all I look at, is how clear is the path? Is it attainable here and now, or do I have to wait till I die? I took A. That's just the way I see it, and I went on my journey. Very simple, and I enjoyed it. I made the two into one. I took the Western philosophy and the Eastern philosophy and come up with a pathos that worked for Jer Noobs. And I like it. And there are metaphors for that. Fake it till you make it. It's a metaphor until it's not. And it's in the works.